WTIM Ag Podcasts anytime.
WTIM.
This is the WTIM Morning Show on your information station, sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Reed Kamai, and we've got one more National FFA Week interview to do with an FFA chapter in our area, and another opportunity to hear about the great things going on in FFA chapters, and this one pertains specifically to Shelbyville. And we've got two officers from the Shelbyville High School FFA chapter. I'll introduce each of them one by one for you. To my left, we've got the chapter president, Miley Hall. Miley, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's good to have you on. If I handle the right microphone here, perfect. And then we've got the secretary, Audrey Durbin, here. Audrey, thank you for coming in too.
It's great to be here.
Yes, it's good to have you folks here as well. So we've got the introductions out of the way. What year are each of you in?
I am in my senior year currently.
And I'm in my junior year.
Okay, so we've got a senior and a junior in the house. Perfect. All right, so we've got them in. And then when were you each elected as president and secretary, respectively?
Last year in March.
Mm-hmm. I've actually been secretary for 2 years. So
Okay.
I was elected secretary February of my freshman year, and then again February of my sophomore year.
All right, so we got a couple of those in a couple years in that position. Did you hold any roles prior to that?
I held vice president before I was elected as president.
Okay.
And I was a freshman, so I didn't hold any offices before that. I just got secretary.
All right. So starting out then as secretary, then for you, Miley, what was the transition like from your previous role into this one?
It was pretty easy because vice president and president work alongside each other for a lot of things, so I knew what I was getting into before I actually went into it.
Okay, that helps definitely, especially if what you're getting into is president. I know I would feel that way indeed. So you've got all of that going on, and then talk a little bit about what you do as president and secretary, respectively, in the chapter.
We work alongside each other a lot of planning for the chapter, a lot of planning for like FFA week, stuff like that. I don't know, we're really good friends, so we work together a lot doing things like that. But yeah.
That helps. What about you as president?
As president, I plan a lot of stuff and try to get correlation between officers and try to make sure that we're all getting along and making sure that the year runs as smoothly as it can.
Nice. So a lot of that sort of thing going on, and then talk about what the rest of the academic year looks like in terms of your roles as president and secretary. What you've got going on.
It's really, really busy. I like to keep myself busy, though it's fun. I put a lot of my time into FFA, just doing like everything I can or everything I can be involved in. But yeah, I like to take a lot of my time towards FFA and doing that stuff.
Nice. So like, do you have any like particular secretary specific duties that, will become especially relevant in the last part of the year?
Not necessarily secretary specific. I mean, obviously I keep accurate records of meetings, but like I do a lot of the CDEs and LDEs, the competitions. And like livestock judging is my favorite. Public speaking is my favorite. I like being involved in doing those things.
Nice. And we'll talk, I'm sure, a little more about that as we go on. And then Miley, for you as president, what lies ahead for the rest of the year?
It's mainly just preparing our next year's officers for what's to come and trying to end out the year smooth, especially with our chapter banquet coming up here soon. So just trying to make sure everything runs smoothly so I can set up a good year for our next year's officers.
Nice. Yeah, thinking about the future there, and we'll talk about the future of the FFA in a short while. I would love to hear about what being an FFA member and officer at Shelbyville High School really means to each of you, and hear about that.
It's just like, I don't know, I started FFA just because my dad did it and my grandpa did it. Like, I just thought, oh, they did it, so I have to do it. And I've really just kind of seen, like, I've turned it into like what I can do with it, and I've made it my own. From the people that came before me have done it. And yeah, I don't know, I've discovered myself a lot through FFA and just learned like what I like to do.
It's really important to me because of who it's made me become. It's really helped me grow as a person. And I think being in our own chapter, I've made a lot of new friends and had a lot of new experiences that I wouldn't have got with anything else.
No, that's lovely that you've been able to, make those connections. and get that out of being in the chapter. So, we were talking about earlier, well, you were talking about trying to get the next set of officers. And of course, you're probably also thinking about your next set of members. How do you pitch FFA and your chapter when trying to get other students to join?
It's a lot of you get a lot of self-discovery out of it. And I think just the people that are involved in it too, it makes it so much fun. And I was just elected as chapter president for next year. So I don't know, I think as my role for next year, I want to just get as many new people involved to see what they can make out of it, just the same way that I did when I was a freshman.
Okay, so you had the elections already for next year, it sounds like. Okay, nice. Well, congratulations. And it's nice that we have, of course, the president and president-elect sitting across from me right now. And then as for the current president, Miley, how do you pitch the chapter to potential new members?
I pitched it because it's we have a really unique chapter because of our ag plots and getting to work with them. And we have really great advisors that really, I would say, make FFA at Shelbyville what it is, because they're so helpful and they're so encouraging. And I just pitch it because the people that we have in our chapter now just make it entertaining, and there's always something new and something to talk about with our chapter.
No, that's great that you have that involvement there. Now, you two are, of course, officers with your chapter. You're also officers at the sectional level. We were talking a little bit about earlier. Talk about kind of what that entails and what you've gotten out of it.
I'm also the section secretary, so I'm kind of just secretary of everything. But it's a lot of facilitating events. We do chapter visits in the fall where we go to each of the chapters in this section and we talk about what FFA is and their goals for the year and what they can make out of it. And usually that's with a lot of younger members. And then we do that same week, we do leadership training school, which is the same thing, pretty much just a night. We have a lot of fun at that. And then we just facilitate contests and competitions. We're kind of in charge, help it run smoother.
So I serve as section sentinel, and that's trying to make people feel welcome. So I do a lot of talking and trying to make people feel energetic when they're around us, and getting to interact with the 13 schools that we have in our section is a lot of fun, and seeing them enjoy FFA is just a great part of being in section office.
No, that's awesome. And by the way, I love that quote you said there, Audrey, secretary of everything. I think that's something a lot of people would want to take up. But no, it's great that you get that experience, and it must be a pretty eye-opening experience. Getting to visit a lot of these other places, see kind of how other chapters how they operate. Have you perhaps taken some inspiration from those sorts of things to maybe apply to your chapter?
I have. I've seen people I don't know, new ideas that they have that I never maybe would have ever really thought of. And it's also just seeing different perspectives of the chapter, the other chapters in our section, and just, I don't know, trying to go from that and take that and apply that to the rest of the section.
Nice. That's really cool that you get to have those connections there. Now, you folks have been involved in quite a few big projects throughout the year. I'm curious where you folks want to take me with that.
So our biggest project throughout the year is our vocational agricultural plots. We have the oldest high school plots in the state of Illinois, so we try to take care of them as best as we can. It's a year-round project between planting and harvesting, and it's a great way to get all of our members involved in something that we have.
We also focus a lot on mental health and agriculture. So the past 2 years, we've done harvest buckets, which is basically just a full bucket of goodies and snacks and drinks and whatever we can offer to a farmer, and we drop it off at their field where they're harvesting. Usually we put a little encouraging note in there, and there's a prayer card in there. That has honestly been one of my favorite activities throughout just my FFA career, just because I focus a lot on mental health and agriculture, and that's a really good way to do that for me.
No, that last one really caught my eye, because that's been a topic of discussion as of late, and it sounds like you folks are doing your part to help folks in the community. So I really like that. I'm talking right now with Miley Hall, president of the Shelbyville High School FFA chapter, and Audrey Durbin, the secretary of said chapter as well. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll have more to talk about with them right here on the WTIM Morning Show on your information station.
Your information station, WTIM.
RFD today on a Friday. I'm Jim Taylor. As crop farmers prepare to plant their corn, soybeans, or wheat in 2026, many are making decisions with the current farm economy in mind. Faith Parham, an economist for the American Farm Bureau Federation, says USDA economists revealed some key insights during the annual Outlook Forum.
USDA economists revealed last week at the Agricultural Outlook Forum that there's some modest shifts in crop planting for 2026. We are going to see some declines in corn acreage from the record high levels of 2025 and some increases in soybean acreage. Wheat acres kind of remaining steady.
USDA said planting decisions are being driven by commodity prices, input costs, and expected returns.
We're seeing lower crop prices and continued elevated production costs, which is going to affect profitability. On the other hand, we're seeing expanded domestic soybean crush capacity, which may be leading to some of that increase in soybean.
This is Darian Norville with Central Commodity FS, bringing you What's Next. And here at FS, we believe that is supporting agriculture's bright future. So happy National FFA Week to all past, present, and future agriculture professionals whose success sprouted from their local chapter. Best wishes from your proud supporters at Central Commodity Farmers Supply Company.
Agriculture is one of the cornerstones of our community and economy. Working in agriculture takes fortitude, faith, and a knowledgeable financial partner. This is Julie Nodal, and we at First National Bank want to be your partner. We have been helping farmers grow their operations and weather uncertain times since 1930. With firsthand knowledge of agriculture and its challenges, we are committed to you. Let us help you succeed now and for future generations to come. First National Bank, the quality bank, member FDIC.
The Illinois Corn Checkoff is proud to support Illinois FFA, providing meaningful experiences to apply their agricultural education in ways that impact our industry. From meetings with high-ranking officials to the vehicles that get them from point A to point B, the Corn Checkoff is investing in our future. Learn more about our strategic work to grow the next generation at ilcorn.org. That's ilcorn.org.
Hi, this is Jeremy Pyatt with Kaufman Realty and Auction, and we are back with another gun and ammo auction online and open for bidding now at localgunauction.com. Available in this auction are more than 50 firearms, plus a large selection of ammo and calibers such as .223, 30-06, 45, and 9mm, and many more. We also have some military memorabilia and several lots of gold and silver coins. So get on over to localgunauction.com to sign up and start bidding on this great auction.
WTIM.
And we're back on the WTIM Morning Show on your information station. The show is sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Reed Kamai, and I continue my conversation with Miley Hall, the president of Shelbyville High School's FFA chapter, and Audrey Durbin, the secretary of said chapter. It's our last interview as part of National FFA Week, when we've been talking to the chapters in our area about all the great things happening with their chapters. And I understand you folks are busy with your record books. Talk a little about that and what's going on with that.
I have 3 record books. They're both beef and swine entrepreneurship. So I have a breeding beef book and a show cattle book, and then I have a show swine book. So I take records of me taking care of my animals throughout the year, and then I show them at our county fair in the summer. Right now I've grown my little breeding operation from just one little cow. Now I have 5, and I raise them and I sell them, pick my favorites to show. And then, yeah, that's pretty much the extent of the cow book. And then the swine are just show swine. I don't breed my swine, but yeah, I take care of them. I show them in the summer, and then I sell them at the end of the summer. And that's my books.
Yeah. So wait, you sell the books? Or,
No.
or the livestock.
The livestock.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. But you said books last, so I don't know what was going on there. So in those books, I mean, it sounds like you write about kind of how the animals are progressing. Is that sort of what it's like?
Yeah. So I just take records. It's really for the health and the well-being of my animals, for me to just keep track of how they're doing, what they're doing, what I've been doing to them, if I've given like immunizations or I've fed them differently or whatever. It's just for me to keep track of my animals, really. And then I can compete in that for like proficiencies, district proficiencies, section proficiencies, to see I don't know what other people have been doing in the chapter too.
Okay, so you've got your record books. Miley, is that similar for you with your record books?
So my record book is actually in food service. So I take care of different food types and ensure their quality and take care of customers and make sure they're enjoying themselves when they come in to my place of employment.
And what place, if you would like to share, is that?
I work at Subway.
Okay.
So it's a lot of fun.
Okay, nice. So you get the work experience as well. And that's what's going on there with the record books. You were also talking about remembrance projects during the break. What would you like to share about that?
So our chapter does this really big thing with remembrance wreaths. We spend a lot of time near the end of the year making wreaths to put on veterans' graves. So people can request for them to be put on their graves, and we take our senior classes out to go do them, and our FFA chapter works on getting them done during that time.
Yeah. Anything to add to that?
We spend a lot of time, it's usually like beginning of November, we spend a lot of time making the wreaths. We get evergreen trees donated, and then after we finish making them all, then the senior class goes out and puts them on the graves, and I think it's just a really good thing and a really respectful thing to do for our veterans in the community.
Yeah, it sounds like it, and I think I would imagine it just means a lot to the folks with that sort of connection who have served or know anyone who has served as well. Now, I understand you folks have been actually quite busy when it comes to ag in the classroom and doing a lot of those lessons as well. What do you have to share about that?
So I do an ag leadership class, and I get the unique opportunity to talk to fifth graders about ag, and I do that about 3 times a week. So it's really fun to teach them about different things in agriculture, and I get to work closely with our Farm Bureau's ag in the classroom too, and she's very helpful in helping me learn how to lesson plan and do different stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. So I did this class last year. I got to facilitate ag in the classroom lessons and what that entails. So it was a lot of lesson planning and doing that all by yourself and learning how to take that initiative to teach a class about a specific area in agriculture. And I really liked it. I honestly plan on taking the class again next year just so I can do it again. But yeah.
No, that's cool that you get to get involved and be involved, in like the organization of how all of these classes go. And you said you were talking to fifth graders?
Yeah, I get to talk to fifth graders and teach them about different aspects and how it can affect them as they grow older.
Yeah, so I imagine a big part of what you think about with the lesson plan is gearing it towards fifth graders for the amount of knowledge that they have at that point. So that's cool that you've got the ag in the classroom involvement. We've got just under 2 minutes to go. And I'd love to know what the two of you have planned for yourselves once you graduate from high school.
So after I graduate high school, I'll be attending university to major in political science in hopes of going on later to law school. And I've considered going into politics so I can advocate for agriculture more and make it more of a known topic.
So my future plans aren't exactly agriculture related, but I think FFA has taught me a lot about taught me that I want to do that. So I plan on attending Lakeland College and a university to become a pediatric nurse just because of how much I like working with kids. And 4-H and FFA have taught me a lot about that and just how to deal with kids. And I don't know. I just think pediatric nursing is the way to go for me.
Yeah, and I can see how perhaps the ag in the classroom experience and just kind of being around them will help. Now, you sort of answered the last question I was going to ask, but I mean, you can add to it as well if you want. Talk about how your involvement in the FFA and as president and secretary will help you as you pursue your future endeavors.
I would say it would help me because being president and being an FFA has taught me a lot of leadership skills. And if I plan on going into politics or being in law, you really definitely need that leadership and being able to take initiative in those courtrooms or just talking to people.
Yeah, and I think just the working with kids thing and FFA and 4-H have both taught me obviously a leadership, responsibility, organization, stuff like that. And I think I'll definitely be able to put that towards my career in the future.
Now, that is lovely to hear about for both of you. Best wishes in those endeavors. Miley Hall, president of the Shelbyville High School FFA chapter. Audrey Durbin, secretary of that chapter. Miley, Audrey, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yes, it was good to talk to you both. Thank you for listening to the WTIM Morning Show on your information station. Have yourself a great day.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville. 96.1 FM Taylorville. 107.5 FM Shelbyville. 107.9